Hi, everybody, and welcome back. My name's Melissa, and this year I'm sharing 365 tips for frugal living. So today's tip is to always have a backup plan. So I was a nanny. I loved my job. It was great until last Friday when I was no longer a nanny. Things changed, schedules changed, finances changed, and I was no longer needed. So I was out of a job. So I can't afford to be unemployed. I need to be working. So obviously we can all apply for unemployment, but depending on where you live, that could really suck. I was in Florida during the pandemic, and even with the extra $600, oh my God, it took forever. And it wasn't the first time I'd been laid off in Florida. I was laid off previously, and I had to prove who I was and prove it was me and prove my kid existed and prove that I didn't steal somebody's social security number and go to this meeting and go to that meeting and show up and do all of these things. And then by the time they finally approved it, they wouldn't even give me the back unemployment because I'd found a job. And it was like 2 months. It was miserable. And then during the pandemic, we all got laid off in March around St. Patty's Day. And I didn't get my unemployment until the end of July. I think it was like the 28th, 27th, 28th, right around in there. So again, even though I qualified for unemployment, I was really, really, really tight on money until then and having to live off of a few $1,000s for months. So you always want to have a backup. My backup right now is Shipped. It's not gonna be great. It's got its challenges, but if I can do Shipped a couple of days a week and I can then be applying for other jobs other days of the week, then at least I have a little bit of a cushion so I can make it through. And I mean, my bills are relatively low. I really could spend $5-10 a week on groceries for the next like 3 to 4 months and still be okay. I have a lot of food. I probably spent like almost $900 on food in January and February because I ran into so many good sales, and I got like the chicken for $1 a pound, and then I'm trying to think what else I stocked up on. Steaks, some beef, sausage. I just got a bunch of sausage, was buy one get one free at a local store here, and it was like $5 a pound, buy one get one free. So it worked out to like $2.50 a pound, and it's their own homemade sausage. They've got like, I don't know, 5-10 different flavors, and it's really good sausage. I like it better than Johnsonville, so I got some of that, mainly for my kid. I mean, my kid will typically have 4 of the 5 sausages or 5 of the 5 sausages in a pack. Sometimes I have one, but I'm okay on food. I do have, oh my God, my car expenses of late are more than my housing expenses. So I have my car payment until it'll be paid off in November, I want to say. November or December. I have my insurance, which is ridiculous. Illinois just raised rates last year and my insurance like doubled. Um, I remember before I moved to Florida, my insurance was it was liability only, but it was $300 a year, and this was in 2013. And then I moved to Florida, and my insurance was like $600 every 6 months. It quadrupled, and again for liability only. And I was just like, oh my God. And then moved back up here, and it raised again. So I just feel like insurance was just through the roof. So I have that. But my housing, I mean, my mortgage is really, really low. My gas is, well, right now it's expensive. I think I paid like $160 the last time I got it filled. Well, the receipt's right here. What does it say? It's, yeah, $160. And because it was such a cold winter, I did have to spend more on propane than I normally do because one, there was a larger temperature differential, and two, I had to keep the heat up higher so that my plumbing didn't freeze. So there's that. But you I live in a tiny home. I do have my HOA fees, which are due. The rest of them are due in April. So that's like another grand, but then I don't have to worry about it for the rest of the year. So I can't afford to not have income. But I really only need about $2,000 a month to be okay. So I can make it by on $2,000 a month, less if I don't buy groceries, and I'll be okay. So I do have Shipt as a backup, and I can be making money there. So is it optimal? No. Is it the greatest? No. Do you have to make sure that you are working the right hours? Yes. However, I think I figured out the right hours already, which is pretty cool. And this is kind of the time of year people do start using Shipt more because it's the weather's starting to get nice. They're going to want things like their flowers delivered and their gardening stuff that they don't want to put in their vehicle. And they want to do stuff, so they're outside with their kiddos. And it's good. I mean, people were really generous last weekend, so I will be okay. It's just like I said, it's not optimal. It's a lot of mileage on the car, lots of gas and stuff. So but it is something until I find gainful employment and I have time. I have been applying to places and I will keep applying, but I have a backup. Now, if your bills are higher than mine, then Shipt might not be like, obviously, still Shipt, Uber Eats, whatever you have to do it so that you have a backup. But always have a backup, always have a plan. Always have a way to meet your expenses and be okay. So, well, when I was initially laid off, and I mean, it was kind of like a weird week. I kind of got a weird vibe, and I was like, okay, that's kind of odd. Like, I kind of felt like something was going on, but she wouldn't tell me, and then she wanted me to be on call essentially, but not pay me. Like, she got really bent out of shape when I asked her if she could tell me what days she wanted me to work next week, as though that was an unreasonable request, to not just assume that I'm going to work Monday through Friday and then just have her tell me an hour before I start not to bother to come. And she was just like, it was really shady how she was like, I think he was confused. He said he was going to have you come tonight and he was expecting Miss Liz. And I'm like, well, yeah, because I've been working Fridays for over a month now. Since like January, since the beginning of January. I think the second Friday in January, I started working Fridays. So, yeah, of course we are. And, I was like, do you want me on Saturday? Because he wanted to do something on Saturday. Because I'm not a typical nanny. I take kids places. So I took the kid to 2 different zoos. I took him to a children's museum. We went to the playgrounds. We went to this like historical museum with like pony rides and hayrack rides and stuff. I took him to like pumpkin and scarecrow displays. I took him to, I'm trying to think where else splash pads, obviously. We did a ton of stuff. I took the kid somewhere almost every day during the summer that I had him. And actually, during the summer, we always went and did something, even if it was just to the library. And the library had reading programs and stuff. So, I mean, and one of our local libraries has games for the kiddos to play. The other has toys so that they can check out and use in library. We were always going and always doing stuff. So on the weekend, now that it's the school year, on the weekend, he really loves, and then I took him to a family fun center where we played like miniature golf and rode go-karts and played laser tag. And I went on this ride that made me almost puke. But we had lots of fun. We did stuff. I took him to see Santa a couple of times. We always were going and doing stuff. So I wasn't just the let's go and I don't know, sit and read a book. I mean, not that we didn't ever read, obviously. I mean, it's winter, so we read a lot, but we actually went places and did stuff, and almost always were out doing stuff. So he really enjoyed when we had our weekends together. And she was like, no, I don't need you anymore. Thanks so much. I was like, okay, that's great. And meanwhile, her kid's all like, maybe we could do Sunday or Saturday or this or that. I've got an idea. I know you do, Sweet Pea, but we got to ask. So, yeah. I'm out of a job. And it sucks. I loved the kiddo I nannied for. He was a great kiddo. But them are the breaks. So I'll do shift until I can find another job. I'll be okay. I'm a survivor. This isn't the first time I have been laid off. I really have a knack for choosing the wrong job. I was a server during the pandemic. I was a loan originator who specialized in refinancing in the mortgage industry during the housing crisis. Now, mind you, I was actually new to the mortgage industry. I was not unethical. I was actually getting people out of what was known as option arms, where like people had neg-amped the crap out of their home, and I was helping them save homes until everything crashed and went away. So, yeah, today's advice is to always have a backup, because if you have a backup, then yeah, was Friday morning tough? Absolutely. But by Friday evening, I was out earning money. I didn't just sit around and mope. I figured it out. I got out there. I have a backup. And so for me, Shipt is my backup. It's not as much money, but it's still money, and I'll be okay. So figure out what your backup is so that you can pay your bills, so that if your job gets eliminated, because a lot of people have been laid off lately, a lot of things are changing right now. And you want to back up so that you can pay those bills. Even if I hadn't done Shipt in quite some time, but it wasn't hard to go back to. Anyways, again, my name's Melissa, and this year I'm sharing 365 tips for frugal living. If you want to hear more, please hit like and subscribe. I do post anywhere from 1 to 3 videos a day. Some are more of me talking and giving you some tips. Other times I do some grocery hauls or recipes that are more frugal or what have you. So 1 to 3 videos a day. So if you want to know when I do post, go ahead and hit that little bell notification and it'll let you know. Anyways, again, my name's Melissa and I'll see y'all tomorrow.